Hey guys, good evening and thanks for joining. So we can start about whatever we discussed interview questions up to servers. We did not complete yet. So don't think like always maybe interviewer will expect same type of questions whatever we discussed in the class. For example, yesterday one of the person is attended healthcare based industry and they expected about the question is belongs to they are using the PostgreSQL database in their organization, part of the on-premise and also cloud. In case PostgreSQL database alert is triggered via SIM tool, how can you do the investigation? It's a generic one. I'm repeating once again. In my organization, we are using the PostgreSQL database. One of the alert is triggered to authentication login failure attempts. In this scenario, how can you do the investigation side? So whatever we are discussed in the class, it belongs to the dictionary attack, brute force attack, so rainbow table attack, pass the hash attack, and also so password spray attack, irrespective of the whether it is end user machine or whether it is server or database or application or cloud instance. Normally we used to discuss about on the end user system side. So like even Windows event ID 4625 and also Windows event ID 4624. 4625 belongs to authentication login failure attempts and 4624 is belongs to authentication success. These two cases normally we used to discuss. But as I said, so last night whoever is attended the interview, they did not ask about end user point of view. So we received a couple of the alerts or belongs to the PostgreSQL database as a login failure attempt or login success attempt. As a cyber security analyst, how can you do investigation? So that second server is belongs to database. So now here, whenever any alert is triggered, first and foremost, we should go and we should identify what is the probability of the alert. Whether the internal employee of the database server is trying to do forget the password and is entering the wrong password, or maybe because of the typo error, maybe is forgetting the password through private IP address range. Second possible scenario, attacker is used so trial and error method or different types of dictionaries and through public IP. Then he tried, but unfortunately did not succeed based on the different types of permutations and combinations. Third one, so attacker is able to guess the password, whatever we define the account lockout policy within the 5 attempts or 3 attempts. So irrespective of the whether it is an endpoint or server or database or application or cloud instance, first you should understand about what is the exactly question they are expecting about. So no need to worry, no need to get tense or no need to get about excitement. So PostgreSQL database, maybe PostgreSQL database is new to you. That doesn't mean that you should not forget about your basic. What are the possible scenarios already we know and we discussed under the brute force attack? So private IP through internal employee, he forgot the password. It's like a false positive. Public IP, attacker was able to access but is not able to guess the password within the whatever maximum number of the permutations we are given as the account lockout policy. And third one, so within the account lockout policy, whatever we able to create after so many multiple authentication login failure attempts, attacker succeeded. So same thing here. If you know about the what is the alert is about, then obviously you can give. So whenever these type of alert is triggered related to database, PostgreSQL database, first and foremost, I can go and I can identify the event timestamp. What is the data source? Your data source is a PostgreSQL database. And also, what is the payload and what is the authentication status, whether it is succeeded or whether it is a failure. So this particular scenario, I will explain the total 3 ways. First scenario is belongs to internal database user forgot the password, or maybe because of the typo error, or maybe because of the entering the wrong password, this alert is triggered. How can you classify the incident now? Based on the private versus the public IP. If the alert is triggered versus 10 series or 172.16 series or 192.168 series. For those series, we have to conclude as a database user or administrator. Then he forgot the password. Maybe he has done the typo error or maybe entered the wrong password. We should contact the end user. Finally, we can make it as a false positive. Then I can make an overall summary of the report. I can close the incident. Second scenario, on behalf of the end user or database administrator belongs to the PostgreSQL database, attacker is able to try several times, but unfortunately, he did not succeed based on the trial and error method or maybe because of the probability. In this scenario, as a cyber security analyst, I can go and I can identify the event timestamp. What is the IP address of the alert is triggered, whether it is internal IP or public IP. After that, what is the authentication login failure attempt and payload and also data source action. Based on these analyses, I found it is a public IP. But when I was doing the database log analysis to the overall user side from the public IP, then I found that attacker did not succeed. Then I have taken the IP address. Then I went to couple of open source tools like MX tool, IP White, so virustotal.com and so on. After checking the reputation of the IP address of the public IP, I came to know that it's one of the malicious attacker IP address. Then, I raised a case with the network security team or network firewall team to block the IP address. And additionally, I have provided the overall evidences. Then I closed the incident as a false positive. Third scenario, in case the public IP attack is trying to guess the password within the whatever password policy we created under the PostgreSQL database within the 5 attempts. Maybe after 3 to 4 attempts, attacker succeeded to guess the password. Whenever this type of true positive incident is triggered, first and foremost, I will re-verify from this database server, is there any outbound connections are going from the command and control attacker IP address in the database logs analysis based on the alert is triggered. In case the outbound connections are going from the PGU SQL database servers to the command and control attacker IP address, then I can block the IP address in the firewall by raising the case with the network security and network firewall team. We can speak with the PostgreSQL database team and we can reset the passwords to specific to that particular end user in the PostgreSQL database. And also I will verify other than this PostgreSQL database, other user accounts are got compromised as a lateral movement. I will verify that one as well. And finally, after the attacker is got compromised this database server as a user account, attacker gained the privilege escalation attack as a root or admin level of the access. I can verify that one under the database server logs. And also, is there any other additional activity has done? Nothing but copying of the data I can verify the DLP logs, whatever we are using in my organization as a Digital Guardian or Microsoft Defender or Sophos DLP, whatever you're keeping in your resume or Forcepoint DLP and so on. So this is the way from scenario to scenario. I will go and I will take care of the respective database server login failure attempts or success as the external attacker point of view and also from the internal employee from inside the threat point of view. That's it. This is what you have to explain. Instead of the end user system, what inter expecting now? Inter expecting one of the dedicated server. That service belongs to database server. Okay. So there are so many possible scenarios will appear under the database server also. Database server login failure attempts or success attempts. Account is created in the database. Account is deleted in the database. Account is modified or updated in the database. That may be irrespective of the whatever database we are using. Whether it's a MongoDB in the cloud or PGSQL database in the cloud or Cassandra in the cloud or SQL database in the cloud or PGSQL database in the on-premise and cloud or Oracle cloud or Oracle databases like 11G or 12G or 13G and so on. So these are all the different types of the scenarios we can go and we can validate irrespective of the vendor, whatever we are deployed. At the time of the interview, you have to say, in my organization, we used so and so database server. In the cloud, we are using the MongoDB. In the on-premise, we are using the PGSQL or SQL database. That is about overall database server dedicated use cases, and we can use collector agent method and also syslog server method to integrate database server logs to SIEM tool. There are two different types of log integration method. One is called as syslog. Second one is called as collector agent method. Under this one, what are the practical use cases for the just now whatever I discussed? Database login failure attempts from the same source user. Database login failure attempts from the
Internal.
same source IP. Database login failure attempts from the public IP. Database login failure attempts from private IP. Next one, account is created in the DB server. Account is deleted in the DB server. Account is updated or modified. All these are false positive or true positive. Finally, attacker is succeeded to guess the password after multiple login failure attempts. It's a true positive. He tried. So as per the account lockout policy, we are using 5 attempts. 3 attempts he failed it. In the 4th attempt, he succeeded. So that is the practical use case. By the by, this use case is not only applicable to database server. This is applicable to web server. This is applicable to Windows server or Unix server or Linux server, any other servers also. That is about overall database server side. Possible use cases or possible practical scenarios we can go and we can monitor regular on daily basis. Okay. So that is about dedicated database side. Yes,
Arti?
with yeah,
Uh,
please.
so, as per without MFA is what he mentioned, right? So, where can we apply this MFAs? I mean, at the application level, user level, network level, and
We can apply everywhere. We can apply, for example, you are the database user, you want to access the PostgreSQL database, and I
mm,
am the database administrator, I am your team lead.
okay,
So you joined recently. For
mm,
Priyanka, then I can give one of the user account,
okay,
Priyanka, and password is Priyanka at the rate of 123. And additionally, in the database server also, I can generate one of the file dedicated to you. So that
okay,
one, whenever you want to try to access through your account, you have to log in via through private key. If it is Linux server, if it is
mm,
Windows server, just RDP. So
okay,
then finally, once you are entering the username and password, you have to register your mobile number also in the database server side as a multi-factor authentication like Google Authenticator or Microsoft Authenticator or third party. So once you are giving the username and password, then it will come OTP to your mobile number, or maybe it will ask like QR code scanner, or maybe it will come one of the OTP through email address. These are all the different scenarios. As a user account also, we have to provide the multi-factor authentication dedicated to database server side.
okay. And one more question is when we are talking about internal attack and external attack.
Correct.
So, external, you can identify it, but how can we identify the internal threat? Until
Internal
and
threat,
unless you will exfiltrate the data.
yeah,
But till then, you can't do it. But I think Yuba and SOR can do this.
yeah. Coming back to your question, whenever any security incident or alert is triggered, in the logs, whatever end user is trying to access as an insider threat, or
Hmm.
maybe on behalf of the end user attack is trying to access, we will receive the IP address also. So
Hmm.
whether he is doing the so from the external IP or whether he is doing from the internal IP. So
Hmm.
here there is no signature, there is no machine learning capability. So based on the alert notification itself, so we'll come to know whether the what is the private IP address range you are using. That's what I said several times in the class also. Whenever you are joining in any organization, first and foremost, please contact your network administrator or network engineers. What is the private IP address users, private IP address each and every end user is using, whether database team or Windows team or Linux team or application development team or product development team or machine learning team or HR team, legal team and cybersecurity SOC or NOC team and so on. You can get all those private IP address range to know about LAN segmentation part. Why? Because developers has a separate LAN segmentation, HR team has separate LAN segmentation, database team has a separate LAN segmentation, SOC has a separate LAN segmentation. In such a way, they will go and they will do the LAN segmentation within the space of the whatever IP address we are defined in the DHCP server. We are able to get only those IP addresses. So now once the alert is triggered, based on the whatever input already gathered from the network administrator and network engineers, along with that one, already you know about so classification of the IP address and also
Hmm.
public versus private IP. So whatever alert is triggered, then you can classify whether the insider threat from the internal attacker, so and so user try to access, or from the public IP attacker has done. So gather those things, and not only that one, even go and analyze the database logs also, whether what is the IP address we receive this particular alert, whether attacker has done the IP spoofing on behalf of the internal employee, and also verify through firewall logs also. So these logs analysis you have to came to know that okay who has done what, whether internal employee or on behalf of the internal employee, whether attack has done.
The process goes same way, right? Even the alert will be triggered, everything like containment and all.
That is same as it will not change. That process will not change for the irrespective of the whatever logs or alert is triggered. That is common. That
Okay.
will not change anywhere. ITL process, whatever we define the containment eradication, mitigation, recovery, lessons learned, it will not change it. Only for as a end user, as a cyber security analyst, you should identify the whether the attack is coming from the internal employee side or as insider threat or from the external attacker from public IP address range. That is the basic thing you have to do whenever any security incident alert is triggered.
Okay, if
Okay.
it is a public IP, don't we need to check with the business IPs? Why?
Why
Because
it is
it is,
required? Public
yeah,
IP,
yeah.
business IPs also you can gather. That's what I said. Even you have to gather other than the private IP address range, what are public
Business.
IPs with whom we are doing the business. That is very long back I said. So for especially whenever any zero-day attack is happening in our organization. Yesterday one of the entire question. Same whatever we discussed in the our classes. Log4j. Same question they asked, same as it is. Whenever any log4j attack it's happened in the organization side, how can you take care of the investigation? Ditto. There is no, not even they did not change the library and packages also. So in this scenario, coming back to Ramesh, your question, yes, you should be aware of the other than the private IP address range in your organization, whether class A or class B or class C, even with the public IPs with whom we are doing the business. You have to get those details also from the network administrator or network engineers at the time of the whenever you're getting the KT itself. Is
Okay,
it clear?
but business users, I mean, whoever doing with us business, there is a I mean, వాళ్ళకి database access అనేది అది
They,
valid.
they don't get the access.
Yeah,
What
that
is
is
my
the
NAT?
reason I thought that we don't need to check in these cases what you said, public IP. If we check, it is the that IP is a public IP that is belongs to our business. Even though we don't need to check why, because with our database, so confidential data, how they are having the relation or access, how why you are allowing them to.
No,
So
first of all, yes, sorry to interrupt you. First of all, we will not give the public team to access our internal database. We'll give access to only within the internal employees to access our database server. That may be our internal all the database administrator as L1 or L2 or L3 or cybersecurity SOC team or network administrator. We'll give only to them to database access. Public side, we will not give access to the database server. Even though, so whenever any alert is triggered, so for example, maybe we are a part of the TCS company and we are doing the business with our State Bank of India. So whenever first thing is we have to gather the State Bank of India related the ISP router information where the alert is going to trigger. We have to gather all those public IPs, and additionally even we have to gather the with whom we are doing the business within our public IP range in our organization side as a part of the TCS. After gathering all this information now, you can go and you can verify whether this public is belongs to within the organization whatever network address translation it is happening from through that public IP or not. What is NAT? So mapping of the private IP address to public IP is why one WAN IP interface. Even though that request is coming from the public IP, whether that is hitting to our internal organization the public IP or not, from through that public IP through WAN interface that is coming as insider through private IP. That you have to do all these analysis. How you can do all these analysis? Once you will come to know about firewall oriented, how the LAN segmentation and also netting they have done private to public and also public to private. Then only you can do proper analysis. Otherwise, obviously, you will end up with the wrong conclusion part. Is it clear?
yes, yes.
Yeah. So yeah, coming back to Priyanka, I think maybe you got a little bit confused. So irrespective of the whether it is a end user server, end user machine, or laptop, or MacBook, or workstation, or desktop, whatever servers we are using, for all these servers, so backend process will follow ITL only. So containment eradication, mitigation, recovery, and lessons learned. That is same as it is. Instead of asking the directly, one of the end users has done the brute force attack. In this scenario, they give database server whatever we discussed under the brute force attack, public IP, so false positive, private IP false positive, public IP true positive. Total we discussed three scenarios.
Seriously.
That case is applicable to even database server as it is.
Okay. Actually, I just wanted to confirm whether multi-factor authentication we can put at every logins.
Yes, every login we can put it multi-factor authentication. Yes.
Okay, great. And one question, actually, this is related to SIM alert.
Mm,
If at all we have got a vulnerability
mm,
listed and alert got triggered,
mm.
so what would be the steps we do after every initial analysis? That would be obviously escalated to L2, and from there it will be reaching to vulnerability management or with whom?
Yeah, whenever any alert is triggered via related to vulnerability management side, why? Because even part of the SAST scan, not SAST, TPS we discussed in the application side,
Third party.
third party software scans.
Hmm.
Even we can integrate TPS logs through SIM tool, and also even on the OS side or cloud side or database side. First of all, you should understand whatever vulnerability log is generated as a so legacy or older version we are using part of the our so
Software.
vulnerability management side. First of
Hmm.
all, that package belongs to end user side, system side, or
Hmm.
database server side, or server side, and also application side. So or otherwise cloud side. First, you have to segregate based on the what OS type or OS identification in the tool itself.
Hmm.
Additionally, log source also. For example, maybe in the alert notification, that particular data source is showing as a web server. What is the conclusion?
Application now.
Application owner. Correct. Same thing. In the data source, it is showing as a facebook.com, for example, as application
Hmm.
owner.
Hmm.
And that particular, once again, data source is showing as a database. For example, maybe SQL database. Who is the business owner? Database team. So
Hmm.
that may be OS is showing as a Windows related to Microsoft 2012. In that scenario, Microsoft
Server.
Windows Server team. First, you
Hmm.
can segregate based on that one. Maybe you are getting the confusion. Who is the business owner? Then escalate to L2 team or L3 team, directly customer client, or maybe you are using the CMDB configuration management database, or maybe through any other asset inventory tool. This particular asset is belongs to who is the owner. Then you can
Okay.
speak with the respective asset owner, a server owner, a database owner, or application owner.
Right. We'll segregate this as a true positive and we'll write the comment that
It's
this
not a
needs
true
for.
positive. It is not a true positive yet.
Uh,
Why? Because you have to do lot of manual analysis. Whatever vulnerability notification it is received via alert, first of all, whether that particular alert is really contains the okay, so what is CVSS score, what is
mm,
CVID, what is the vulnerability name, vulnerability description. Take the vulnerability name and vulnerability description and go and do the manual analysis side. Is it end of life or end of support? What is CVSS score? And what is the vendor is defined the CVSS score? Yesterday entire question. For example, one of the vulnerability alert is triggered to your Nessus tour or Qualys tour JFrog. What is my JFrog here? It's application side. So TPS scanning tool. We discussed about block duck and white source. Hope you remember
yes.
in the TPS side. Instead of the JFrog, they mentioned as a sorry, instead of the NES, white source or maybe through block duck, they mentioned JFrog. In this scenario, so how can you do the manual analysis and how can you identify whatever CVSS score is defined in the tool versus what is the manual analysis you will depend? How can you segregate the CVSS score based on what parameters? What is the answer?
After perform, we'll validate with the vendor score.
Okay, we'll validate vendor score based on what parameters?
Based on the CVID which has been
Okay,
given,
CVID, only CVID.
what are the, I mean, we'll work on the what is the flaw about,
Impact
segregate
is
this, and what would be the impact.
You are missing some of the thing, very, very important thing. That's what I said. CVSS score is depending on the several parameters.
mm,
Risk
Even though,
factor,
okay,
uh, impact, what business impact,
okay, business impact.
continuous improvement,
No, you are not saying main parameters. You are guessing. CVSS score is depending on the 7 to 8 parameters. What are those 7 to 8 parameters?
confidentiality, integrity, availability,
Okay, these three. Additionally,
non-repudiation, authentication, authorization.
no. Confidentiality, integrity, availability, attack vector, attack complexity, network scope, how the attacker is entering into organization site, information disclosure.
Okay.
So these are all the 7 to 8 parameters CVS score is depending on. Even though vendor is saying about, maybe for example, Apache Tomcat or OpenJDK or Strast or maybe Spring Boot framework or kernel or maybe outdated Windows version and so on. First of all, in your organization side, whether do you have the sufficient controls are existing or not. Maybe vendor will give the CVSS score is different, or tool will give the CVSS score is different based on the business impact analysis in the manual way, and based on the risk assessment side, we have done the manual way. That score either we can reduce or we can increase also based on the what is the baseline of the version for related to CVSS. What
Version?
is the
Basically, now we have updated to 4 version.
yeah, 4 don't say in the 4 version in the interview point of view. You can say either 3.0 or
2.
3.1.
3.1.
Yeah, CVSS score base version is 3.0 and 3.1. That is what you have to say. 4 is going to come very soon.
Okay.
It's a not in general availability. It is like a beta version.
Okay.
Okay. These things basically you have to say this is the way how I can do the manual analysis. Most of the people forget about this backend process. That's what I'm saying. They'll concentrate more on the tool oriented questions. They'll forget our always backend process, how the tool will work, how we can do the basically manual analysis. Manual analysis completely depending on what are we discussed in the class through manual way based on the tool wise. So irrespective of the whether it is Equalis or Rapid7 or Nessus or BlockTug or White Source or JFrog or maybe any other tool as well.
So
By the
this
by,
would be like a vulnerability analyst you will be doing, but what is the role of SOC? Even he has to perform this?
no, that is what same question once again in the yesterday interview. Whether will you take care of the patch updates?
No.
Yeah, same question. Once again, same interview also they expected vulnerability management, EDR, and also AWS cloud security, dedicated to AWS cloud security. What you know about AWS cloud security? Now you can give the answer. What are the answers you can give? What are the different types of what you know about AWS cloud security? Anyone?
What
Anyone?
we have different technologies where we can use for the security. It will safeguard
Mm,
using different tools. You'll
mm,
have WatchGuard, DDoS protection,
mm,
Cloud Watch, Cloud Trial. You
mm.
have endpoint, what is the, EDR, endpoint security. It also
Whether
have,
AWS has the endpoint security? The expected combination of the SIM tool, combination of the vulnerability management, combination of the EDR, combination of the cloud security. So they because couple of applications are migrating the cloud security as well. So what you know about cloud security? That is also they will give maybe 10 to 20% weightage if you want to crack the interview. What I said at the time of the cloud security side, Yes, we are also working on the cloud. We have approximate 20 to 30 applications are migrated to the cloud. We enable Amazon Web Services as a cloud security. Couple of services are AWS Firewall, AWS Shield, AWS Guard Duty, AWS Cloud Trail, Cloud Watch, AWS Inspector, AWS Key Management System, AWS Network Access Control List, Security Groups, okay, AWS Firewall, AWS KMS, AWS EC2 instance. So these are the couple of services we enable in the our cloud environment, and also identity access management as well. On top of that one, additionally they asked about what is guard duty, what is cloud trail, what is cloud watch, and how many years you experience in the cloud environment. That's it. Please try to understand whatever we discussed in the class, same as this they are expecting. There is nothing, there is no, okay, I will ask now same question. In the guard duty, what are the different types of alerts you will monitor? We did not discuss. You know about SIM tool. Can't you go and can't you correlate what are the different types of alerts you will monitor in the guard duty? Can anyone guess it?
Authentication logs and
Authentication failure login attempts. Okay.
spoofing category of attack,
Spoofing category of the attack.
flooding category,
Flooding category example.
DDoS.
DNS,
DNS,
DDoS,
DDoS, TCP, UDP, SCMP.
UDP.
Okay. Next.
But we'll not have Mac flood here, I guess.
Even Mac also there. We can go and we can convert switch as well. Under the cloud also.
Okay.
Any other?
Sync flood attack, TCP,
Sync
UDP.
flood. Okay. Only these things. What about OASP top 10?
OASP also.
Phishing, yes.
Yeah, that's what. Instead of giving the generic answer, you can give the each and every attack name. You are giving generic answers. I don't accept generic answers. Multiple authentication login failure attempts from using identity access management. Multiple authentication login failure attempts from the same source IP through identity access management. You can what are the different types of data sources or log sources are integrated to guard duty? Anyone? What are the different types of data sources or log sources are integrated to guard duty in AWS?
Firewall logs, AWS firewall.
Only firewall?
We have WAF,
Okay,
normal. mm,
okay,
We have proxy, DLP.
okay.
mm,
Why are you thinking so much? That
Secure web
means,
gateway.
yeah, secure web gateway. Whatever we discussed in the
IDS and IP.
on-premise, yeah, same as you can say. EC2 instance, identity access management, AWS WAF, AWS Shield, AWS Cloud Trail, Cloud Watch, Firewall, AWS Secure Web Gateway, AWS Network Access Control List, Security Groups, AWS KMS, AWS Maze, AWS,
Inspector.
AWS, sorry. So whatever services we discussed. That means you are thorough on the AWS services. Obviously, you can give the answer as well. We discussed 20 to 25 in between, by the way. Hope you remember. Yeah, this is what completely. So don't think like, okay, someone same as it is whatever we discussed, okay, in the interview point of all, they'll expect. It's not like that. First, you should be aware of. So what are the services we enable? Already you know that one. Same thing you can whatever we discussed in the on-premise, same concept is applicable to cloud also. But maybe terminology is different. By the way, do you know what? How much package they are they are giving to this particular vacancy? SIM, EDR, vulnerability management, and also basic cloud security. Not full-fledged cloud security. 20 to 25 lakhs. Just for 4 to 5 years experienced people. Anyways, so what I'm saying, don't think like same as it is whatever we discussed in the class, it will ask same as it is. But even though I'm trying to cover as much as possible, in the different angles and different ways how they are expecting at the time of the interview. Okay, let's start now. So next one is SMTP server. What are the questions we can expect SMTP server side? Sender policy framework. What is SPF? What is DMARC? What is DKM? What is written path? So how can you do phishing email investigation? Yesterday entire question once again. Under that one, there are several scenarios. Okay, what is SPF? Anyone?
Validate the sender domain address.
Okay. After that, why it will can be used from security point of view? Why can we use from security point of view? Don't say, okay, so layman terminology. It can validate vendor domain name or vendor IP address. Everybody knows that. What is the importance of the SPF? Why can we use SPF? To
Whether
identify,
legitimate user or not.
yeah. So to identify whether it's a phishing email or not, whether attacker has done the spoofing category of the attack related to email or phishing email category of the attacks is authentication method. What is DMARC? What is DMARC records? What is DMARC record? It can be used to identify the phishing emails based on the
Authentication
message
code.
authentication receive code, and it will provide the whether the email is safe or quarantine or allow or alert. That is DMARC. Based on DMARC record, whatever we configured. Then what is DKM? What is DKM?
DKM for exchange
Domain
is
validation, basically.
Only domain
exchanging the key.
validation. From
Based
security
on,
point of view, what exactly to validate?
it will
Exchange
validate that domain and also check with the identification of message from the
That one we can call it as. That one we can call it as.
exchanging the keys and private and public.
What is that one we can call it as? Whether
key
it will take
exchange,
care of the encryption or integrity. Whether
integrity,
it will take care of the
Encryption.
integrity or encryption.
Encryption.
No,
integrity itself,
integrity.
digital signature.
Yes, correct. That is wrong. That's what I'm expecting. It will not take care of the body of the content of the email, whatever it contains. It will do the encrypting of the data. It will take care of integrity of the end user who has done what using digital signature algorithm. So it is not encryption. It will mainly provide the integrity of the end user based on the digital signature algorithm. That is called SPF, DMARC, and DKM. Please go through in-depth analysis of the SPF from DMARC and DKM. SPM is authentication method or protocol. It can identify whenever any phishing email is received. So whether it is a cyber criminal phishing email or spoofed email as done by the attacker. DMARC it will provide about the so based on the whatever authentication is doing by the end user when the sender is sending an email, it can provide the either action as a quarantine or allow or alert. And DKM is a combination of both SPF and DMARC. It will provide the integrity of the end user. So in between sender and recipient based on the keys exchange and also based on the hashing algorithm and digital signatures. Okay, for example, so one of the email it is encrypted through malware attachment, and if you want to decrypt that email, what you need? One of the email has come as a phishing malware attachment, and that file is encrypted through ransomware category of the attack. If you want to decrypt that one, or if you want to read that file, what we need?
Key.
Key
Password.
we need. How can you decode from the whatever email is received? Do you have the key with you?
No.
Then where can you get the key? We cannot get the key.
Attacker end by
Yes,
paying
we
ransom.
can get the attacker from we have to pay money for that. For example, that file does not contain the ransomware category of the attack that we are able to readable format. If you want to read that particular email through malware attachment, so whatever email executable file it contains, that may be .dxe, .pdf, .doc, or .csv, .xml. How can you decode from the encoded message?
By using decoding techniques like
What is
we
the
do have.
decode techniques? That's what I'm asking. What are the different types of decoding technologies we have or techniques we do have?
Base methods, right?
What
From
are those
ASCII,
base methods? Yes, you are right.
ASCII to hexadecimal or hexadecimal to binary or decimal.
Okay, other than this one, you are right almost 90%. Base 16, base
Base
32,
64, base
base
32.
64. Yeah, this is the way how I can read the so encoded message into decoded messages using the decoding of the file. At least you are guessing. I'm happy for that. This is what you have to give the answer. Once again, this one, explain about phishing email investigation. What are the different types of parameters you can validate? Anyone?
Domain validation,
Domain validation.
URL validation, attachment validation, and these are the SPF, DMARC, and DKM validation, spelling mistakes like that.
Hmm.
No,
Do you
And
say this one whether opposite person can be satisfied?
no, no.
no. So technical validations we have and non-technical validations we have. For
Okay, no,
non-technical, we'll check.
in generic one, I'm asking like explain about a phishing email. What the answer you will give? Explain about phishing email investigation. Whenever any phishing email is received, as a cyber security analyst in my organization, we are using Proofpoint is a email gateway, and also I'm using email server as a Office 365 Defender. Once the phishing email is received, first thing, so every email contains the technical parameters and also non-technical parameters. Technical parameters like IP address, domain, sender policy framework, DMARC, DKM, return path, so analyzer. Non-technical parameters like network ID, message ID, CC, BCC, and so on. First and foremost, once the phishing email is received, I will do the domain validation. I will take the domain from the email whatever I received. Then I will go to either email gateway or maybe through open source tools like virustotal.com or MX tool. Then I will check the reputation of the domain name. In case the domain is showing as a illegitimate, then I can go and I can raise a case with the DNS server team or firewall team to block the domain name in the so firewall or DNS or proxy. In case if it is legitimate, then I can go for further investigation. Second validation, I can do the IP address validation. I will take the IP address from the header analysis or maybe through from the directly email. Then I can go and I can check the reputation of the IP address. In case the IP address is showing as option 1, malicious one, then I can go and I can raise a case with the firewall team to block the IP address in the firewall side. In case the IP address showing as a legitimate, then I can go for further investigation. As a third validation, I will take the header analysis and I can upload in the sandboxing environment of the email gateway or email security or maybe through MX tool. Then I can validate sender policy framework is passed or failed, DMARC is passed or failed, DKM is passed or failed, return path is equivalent to sender email address or not. Based on this validation, any one of the so technical parameter is mismatched, then I conclude it's a phishing email. Other than this one, In case the email contain body of the content of the email malicious URL link, I will take the URL link, I will check the reputation of the email, and also I will verify. So what is the reputation of the email URL link, sorry, URL link, whether legitimate or illegitimate. If it is legitimate, then I can go for further investigation. If it is illegitimate, first of all, how many number of the end users received that email as a spear phishing or whaling or QR code scanning or may through so smashing and so on. So through SMTP server logs or through email gateway. In case the email is received only one person, I'll conclude that is spear phishing email. In case the email is received more than so one user, so then I can go and I can see whether any end user is clicked on the URL link based on the logs of the email gateway or SMTP server. Whoever did not click on the URL link, I'll go to email security solution. I can delete using email purging option. Whoever clicked on, what is the EDR action, what is the proxy action, what is the firewall action, whether it is allow or block or quarantine or alert, according to that one. In case if it is allow, nothing but malicious activity is done by end user system side. In case it is a blocked activity, then our proxy is blocked, our email gateway is blocked, then it's a false positive. In case showing it is allow and alert, what is the malicious action has done by the attacker? Is there any outbound connection going from the our internal victim IP to the external attacker as a command and control outbound connections? Whether one system is got compromised or more than one system is got compromised. So there are so much of the analysis we have to do. Same thing is applicable to malware attachment side also. Whether one user is received or more than one user are received. Explaining about phishing email itself, it will take approximate 10 to 15 minutes. We can say that there are several possible scenarios. Based on the scenario to scenario, I can go and I can verify so whether it is a phishing email or not. That is what you have to provide the different scenarios. Spear phishing, whaling, malicious URL link, malicious malware attachment, domain validation, IP address validation, head analysis. How many people are clicked on? How many people are did not click on? In case if they are clicked on, what is the action by the EDR or firewall or ED proxy? So then whoever did not click on, we have to delete the file or maybe mails using the email purging option. Phishing email also one of the very favorite topic. If you want to explain the thorough in the overall scenarios, please go and explain about the phishing email. Otherwise, forget about this one. Go through malware, go through ransomware, go through impossible traversal attack, go through brute force attack. Simple one you can take it. You are confident on yourself. I am able to explain about all the possible scenarios under the phishing email. 100% you can explain. One more thing here they will ask back. Other than the SIM tool investigation, are you working on the phishing email? Yes, I am working on the phishing email investigation also. This is one of the very favorite interview question. Regularly you can expect. Yesterday interview question once again, ransomware, malware, impossible traversal attack belongs to VPN authentication failures. Whatever we discussed, same as it is they will ask even in at the time of the interview also. Maybe here and there, maybe a little bit change, maybe it will be there. But 10 whatever we discussed regularly, we can expect those scenarios only. That is about our SMTP server.
And one second. And what about this domain controller use here? I mean, you said we'll go with the DNS and request them for this particular domain, right? What about this domain controller? What it do?
Not domain control, DNS server. So domain, in case if you want to block any domain name, we can
Mm-hmm.
block using the DNS server, whitelisting and blocklisting. On the DNS side, that one can be done by network administrator, or maybe through firewall also we can block the domain, and also through proxy also we can do the blocking of the domain. There are three ways we can block these domains other than email gateway and email security. Perimeter side we can block using the firewall and
Fine.
email gateway and also proxy.
Okay.
Our internal DNS zone or trust zone or internal zone, we can use DNS server.
Okay. And one question, EDR we have, right? Or
Hmm.
not all EDRs will have the access to block the things like you IP and
No,
URLs.
no, no. Except CrowdStrike, no other vendor is supporting blocking of the IP address. Only CrowdStrike is supporting of the blocking of the IP address. Other than all other vendors are supporting blocking of the hash value only.
Okay.
Yeah. Is it clear?
Yeah, yeah. Got it.
Okay. That is about dedicated SMTP server. So actually, this one we should not speak here. We have to speak under the investigation side. But SMTP server, we have to configure all these policies. That is the reason I explain about all these investigations also here itself. So once we are moving into web server or app server, example, what is mean by cross-site scripting attack? What is mean stored cross-site scripting attack? Reflected cross-site scripting attack? Anyone? Yesterday entire question. What is not even cross-site scripting attack? What is stored cross-site scripting attack? Reflected cross-site scripting attack? Anyone? Is it will fall under which category of the attack?
It falls under OWASP category.
Under which, what is the ID number of the attack name? Attack number, sorry. What is the attack number for the stored cross-site scripting attack, reflected
SQL
cross-site
in
scripting attack?
SQL injection category. I mean injection category.
What is the number?
4.
4, are you sure?
Hmm. Not 4, I guess it's 3. Sorry, after cryptographic failures, it's injection category.
Yeah, insecure design is 4. 3 is injection fly attack. Under the injection, we have both SQL
Cross-site.
injection or any other injection category of the attack and a cross-site scripting attack. What is cross-site scripting attack? Reflected and stored cross-site scripting attack and mitigation steps.
Cross-site scripting, basically, it works in the open, where we have inputs, where we can provide with the inputs. Uh, Attacker law, inject some malicious links over there into your.
Malicious links attacker will inject.
One second. No, actually, it's about
Take Facebook.com. Whether in the input validation side, can we inject malicious URL link,
not URL link, code, sorry.
malicious scripts?
So he might have
Mm,
used the username, whether it's like user
mm.
John, or it will use X or functions here.
Okay,
Boolean.
later. Okay, perfect. Later. So that
Uh,
is called as malicious scripts. Okay, done. Next.
After that, this will redirect to a malicious website where the user inputs his own data.
Whether really redirect to the, okay, so directly straight away to the redirect to the any other website. Whether
No,
directly
no, it's
attacker
like
can inject.
mirrored website he will use here.
First of
Like
all, attacker will see whether the application is vulnerable or not. Attacker will inject malicious scripts wherever input validation is required. He will see whether the web application, it contains the any unauthorized access or vulnerability is existing. Then in case vulnerability existing, based on the different types of the enumeration techniques or exploitation techniques, he will redirect into cross site, some other third party or fake or deface website. Okay, next.
then he will either modify the data or based on the user action, he can modify the data or he get the access to the
Okay,
his own data details. So
okay.
mitigations would be like parameterized queries we need to use,
Mm.
and input validation and sanitization of data is required before
One more,
inputting it.
one more, one more, one more. You missed out one more at mitigation. What is one more?
Input
Sanitation of the
validation,
data, input validation,
uh,
parameters queries
queries,
implementation. One more. Web
uh,
application firewall implementation.
logs into web application.
Yeah,
Simple.
logging into web application firewall logs, and you have to create the correlation rules. Yes, that's right. So that is on the web server side. What is the error on the HTTP code and response side? What is the web server side related code issues number?
It's 500 series you'll get.
Are you sure?
Yes. Client side 400, server side it's
Yes,
500.
perfect. 500 series. Yeah. 500 series of all the category of the attack of the code numbers will come as a server side attack. Okay. So that is on the web server side. In the similar way, once you are going into Active Directory or domain controller, what is the object code or parameterize the changing of the pattern of the event ID number, and which is the category of the attack? They will not ask directly straight away what is the Active Directory category of the attacks, the domain control category of the attacks. One of the end user is trying to do the object modifications or pattern behavior. So what is the pattern behavior of the category of the attack under the Active Directory domain controller?
Is it golden ticket or silver ticket?
Are you asking questions to me as interviewer?
No.
No, you will habituate same as it is. Your answer is correct, but you you can say with confidence answer. Yes, you are right.
So
Golden ticketed.
authentication category of attack, if a whole Active Directory is being compromised, then it's called golden ticket attack.
Okay, that's
And
correct.
silver ticket attack, only one part of authentication mechanism is compromised, then it is called silver ticket.
Okay,
Mitigation.
what is the event ID? What is the event ID?
Login fail, multiple logins, and if they succeed, I'm not sure, but it's in 4700 series.
Okay, that at least you said. You are saying okay. Right now, maybe I'm not able to recollect. It's under the 400 series. You are right. Absolutely right. 100% I can like accept it. Why? Because we have so many ID numbers. How many IDs you can remember? We can remember only two. One is 4625 or 4624. It's not a mandatory. Compulsory 100 out of 100 you have to give the answers. Yes, you are right. So I'm not able to recollect right now in the so spontaneous way, but it is a 4000 series number. Absolutely perfect. You should not be expert in the each and every question, whatever they're expecting from our side. 4662 event ID.
Mm.
Okay. So that is what. Okay, next one. So coming back here, what are the attacks we are going to? They can expect golden ticket and also silver ticket attack. So that is about overall Active Directory and domain controller and other service attacks. And in the tomorrow
Mitigation.
application already provided here, web server and application server.
Mitigation for this golden ticket and silver
What is mitigation? You can say what is mitigations for the golden
ticket
ticket or
granting
silver
ticket,
ticket? Yeah.
Kerberos ticket granting ticket.
Mm.
This.
Any other?
Other would be like MFAs and all password policies, etc.
Yes, exactly, absolutely. Multi-factor authentication. These strong password policies or complex password policies. Default password should not use. Role-based access controls. Okay. So token-based authentication mechanism using Kerberos, using mutual granting authentication mechanism. All these are the couple of the okay. So mitigation steps for the golden ticket and silver ticket attack. Which server is pending now? We discussed about the DHCP, we discussed about DNS, we discussed about file server, database server, web server, SMTP server, and Active Directory and domain controller. What else servers are pending now?
FTP.
Okay, FTP through secure file transfer protocol. Other than this one, Windows and Unix servers.
Mm.
What do you know about Unix servers? What do you know about Unix server? What are the different operating systems of the servers you worked on? What are the different types of operating systems of the servers you worked on?
Windows and Linux with different flavors. of
Okay.
operating systems.
Can you provide the couple of Linux commands?
Yeah, I can give like a process, how many process are working on it.
What is the
You can
command name?
process ID, you have to give what
Where
the
can we see the logs in the Linux server?
var logs. You can go and search for the var logs and messages you can go, or else you can put
Priyanka, I
star.
think maybe I think you should not speak in the class.
Okay,
Do you know what I mean to say that?
I got you.
Yeah, because other people are not responding back. Sorry, please don't mind it.
Sure, sure, no issues.
Why other people are not responding, guys? That is the correct answer. Whatever people are 100% correct answers. I know about the Windows servers, operating system servers, and I know about the Linux servers as well. For example, process ID or directory of the command change, and I can go and I can see where the logs are stored. /var/log star /var/log httpd /var/log, okay, sshd. Using the collector agent method, we can integrate all the logs to SIM tool. We can do the hardening benchmark related to CIS, and also we can use the collect agent method to integrate the logs to SIM tool. We can use the multi-factor authentication, strong password policies. We can implement EDR DLP in the Linux server. So this is the way. So different types of flavors of the Linux, I'm going and implement security controls to take care of the Linux operating system. This one already we discussed. Okay. So that's all for today. Tomorrow morning, I will take the class at 9:15. We are going to start about EDR, because under the network architecture diagram, nobody will ask any questions except you are going for the firewall vacancy. So tomorrow it's very, very important class. Don't skip the class, and I will start class at 9:15 a.m. IST tomorrow morning. By the way, all these questions, whatever we discussed, each and every topic is entire question. Each and every topic. I am not sure how many people are able to understand and how many people are not able to understand. Please go and watch, okay, each and every video 2 to 3 times and make all those notes. These questions only they will expect at the time of the interview. Okay, that's all for today. Do you have any questions? Any questions? Okay, then thank you so much and good night. See you tomorrow at 10:15 a.m. IST. Take care.